Yes guys, Dylan here. Hope you're having an awesome day. Just wanted to make a little video just about how to believe in yourself and overcome self-doubt for good, okay? So maybe this is something which you're struggling with right now, obviously great timing, and maybe this is something you've had in the past or felt in the past, or maybe it's something which at some time in the future you might feel. So always feel free to come back to this video if you need to. But these are just things which, through working with a lot of players, that I've seen these patterns, and I've seen what seems to help most players get through doubting themselves, not believing themselves, and even me personally, right? I think these things are really, really important, obviously for football, but also for life in general. So these are lessons we can add into our everyday life as well, okay? So first thing about how to believe in ourselves and how to overcome self-doubt for good is focusing on what you can control, okay? There are so many things in life, in football, that we can control, and there's so many things which we can't control, okay? If we focus on what we can control, that puts us as the person, as the player, in the driver's seat, right? For our future, okay? Whereas if we're focusing on the things we can't control, then our whole life, or our football career, or our football match, or our team it's very tough, because you're just trying to really like pull on these things which you have no control over, and it ultimately is only going to decrease your performance because you're not focusing on the things that you have sole control over, okay? So I'm going to go down to my iPad here, and we're just going to make 3 lists, okay? So a list of things you can control, things you can influence. Apologies if there are some spelling mistakes or some bad handwriting too. And we'll do can't control. All right, let's first start with the things we can control. So the first thing you can control is your effort and how hard you try, okay? So effort, that's a big one. I like that one. Another one, what else can you control? You can control your preparation, how you decide to prepare for the game, okay? So that could be, apologies if the spelling is horrendous. So your personal preparation, right? This is something which is individual to you. So how you prepare for the game is something you're in control over. So being a good player, or someone who's a very dedicated player, will be the reason why you're listening to this, right? But how you prepare is simply up to you, and it's something which is individual, and you can control how you prepare to ensure that it gives you the best chance of success, okay? So you might be someone who before the game needs to have a relaxed morning and just chill out and listen to music or go for a walk, or you might be someone who prefers to socialize more the morning before the game. So, and that's absolutely fine, or listen to pumped up music, whatever works for you, whatever floats your boat. But as you play football for long and long, you should see, okay, yeah, I do feel best going into games when I've done this before, when I've eaten this, when I've acted like this, when I've got all my gear organized early. Just whatever it is, you can control how you prepare, okay? So what else can we control? We can control how we react to things, okay? So how we react. So by how we react, it's how we react to any situation, okay? So for example, if I score a world-class finish in the 2nd minute of the game, I can control how I react to that. I could either, after I score the world-class finish, think I'm God's gift, think I'm Diego Maradona, and then I can just stroll around and not really care, not work hard for my team for the rest of the game. Or I could, after scoring that world-class finish, I could work even harder than I was in the first couple of minutes, and I could even try help my team or get more goals, okay? Another thing, obviously the opposite of that, is maybe, I don't know, 20 minutes in, right? I'm having a stinking game, and then there's a penalty, right? And I step up and I'm like, I'll take the penalty, and I miss the penalty. I can't control what's just happened, the penalty, but I can control how I react to that, okay? Obviously there's so many other things, like having a bad touch. How do you react to it? You can either react to it by just stopping and going, oh my gosh, it's just not my day. Or you can react and try and make a bad touch into a good one, okay? So that's always a good one as well. So there's 3 things we can control. We'll just start with, so your effort, your preparation, and how we react, okay? Okay, we'll go things you can influence. So these are things you do not have control over, but these are things or people you can influence to obviously help yourself and help the team in general, okay? So you can influence the coach, okay? So by that, I don't mean any like sucking up to the coach, like, you know, giving a coach a present or whatever, but I mean influence the coach as in by your performances, by your attitude, by your application, by you taking in the things which they're teaching you, that they're showing you, the coaching that they're giving, really making sure you're attentive to them and you're trying your hardest to apply the things they're saying, because there's a really good chance that your coach is actually a very, very good coach, and you listening to them is going to help you. And the more you do that, the more you're going to influence them. You're going to see, little Jimmy or Sally, they're actually a very keen player. I can see because they're taking the stuff I'm saying and they're applying it, okay? So you can influence them, but you can't control them, okay? So sometimes if the coach thing isn't picking you, right, you can only influence that. You can't control whether they pick you or not. So you just need to try focus on the things you can control here to give you the best chance of influencing the coach to get selected or get more game time, all right? So what are other things we can influence? So we can influence our teammates. So we can influence our teammates by obviously how we act, right? If I'm on the pitch and I have horrendous body language and I'm like always like getting annoyed at someone on my team, like, ripping into them and saying like, you suck, or that was so bad, what are you doing? Or ripping into them, that's obviously not going to help, right? What I need to do is try to influence my teammates. I need to influence them in a positive way by giving them positive reinforcement. So instead of being like, oh, that was a bad ball, what are you doing, James? I could be like, hey, James, nice try. Just next time, can you try and do this? So you're always trying to give them some positive reinforcement that will obviously help them, that'll help you, that'll help the team, and also keeping everything positive as you go, okay? So you can influence your teammates, but you cannot control them, okay? That's a huge thing. And obviously, if you're a positive influence, right, if you're uplifting, if you're a leader, if you're, saying things which are going to help motivate your teammates and encourage them, that's going to lift you and your team, okay? So that's a huge one, okay? So influence. What's anything else we can influence? So another thing we can influence is we can influence the referee. Oh, he said the referee. I'll just say ref. So by influence the referee is something you can do, right? Is you can either just at the start of the game just start like bollocking the referee and ripping into them for every decision they make, and there's a good chance that's not going to help you positively, right? So that's probably going to negatively influence your relationship with the referee and how the referee looks at you as a player, right? However, if you are listening to the referee, or if you're taking, if something doesn't go against you, if you maybe don't moan at them or you don't get annoyed at them, then there's probably a much better chance that the referee will probably be a bit more favorable to you, or not necessarily more favorable, but they won't see you as someone who's kind of standing up and kind of annoying them and making the game a little bit tougher for the referee, right? So just something to be aware of. I don't want to put too much emphasis on that anyway, but all right, next, things we can't control, okay? So things we can't control the past, okay? So we can't control what has already happened, okay? It's pretty straightforward, but you can't control like what you just did before, what you did during the week. You can't control what you ate before the game if it's during the game, right? You can't control like a bad touch that you had 5 minutes ago or a second ago, whatever. You can't control that. So that's gone essentially, right? What's happened before. You can't control a bad game you had the week before. You can't control a bad season the season before. So obviously I can keep going with that forever, okay? Can't control. So you can't control the weather. That's pretty self-explanatory. You can't control, what else can we can't control? We can't control the pitch. And one more, we can't control, what else can't we control? We cannot control what others say about us. That's a good one. All right, so that's probably quite an important one you can't control. So even if you had an amazing game or bad game, whatever, you're not in control what others say or think about you, okay? So as a player, that's not something in your control. So pretty much best not to focus on that, right? They could be saying you're amazing, or they could say you're really, really bad, but it's not really in your control. So it's probably not worth even thinking about too much. So how to believe in yourself and overcome self-doubt. So the biggest way I think to do this is by focusing on these things, okay? So firstly, what you can control, and then putting a little bit of influence on these things you can influence, okay? Mainly in these two scenarios, how you influence your teammates positively, and also how you influence your coach and also /team positively, okay? That is going to give you so much of a better chance of obviously believing in yourself and overcoming self-doubt, because you are doing all the things which you are in complete control of. You're not focusing on, these things here, which are things which, like you have no control over, so it's literally a complete waste of your energy to focus on these things. And I can assure you that if you are having a bad time, which is normal and lots of players have them, you will probably be focusing on the past. You'll probably be focusing on what others say about you, okay? You'll probably be focusing on all those things you can't control, and that makes you feel like you're less in control, so you're getting even more annoyed, okay? So just another thing about this. So this is a great framework to remember. So remind yourself of these things and do them to the best of your ability, okay? Another thing you can control is obviously how you prepare during the week beforehand, before the game as well, okay? And just one other thing to leave you guys with, and it's something I've talked about with quite a few players, is how to make it so that you just keep building confidence. And something I've noticed is the biggest way to do that is by giving your absolute all. So like I said, in control, your effort, right? Giving your absolute 100%, okay? If your intentions, right? If your intent and your actions are always, to the highest of your ability, right? If you're always giving your absolute 100%, if your intent is always a positive intent, right? If it's giving your teammates some sort of feedback, or if it's just how you conduct yourself on the pitch, if your intent is always 100%, you're always trying your hardest in the moment, then you are going to give yourself more confidence going forward, okay? And the reason why is because if you do that and give your all, you're going to give yourself the best possible chance of succeeding, right? And if you give yourself the best possible chance of succeeding, it doesn't mean you're going to succeed. You can try your hardest, and it doesn't necessarily mean you're going to succeed, but what it does mean is you're going to give yourself the best chance of succeeding, okay? And then what that's going to do is, obviously, if you're more successful more consistently, you're going to have more confidence. You're going to grow more confidence, okay, which is huge, right? And if you are growing more confidence, what that's going to do is make you even do more of that, right? So by growing in confidence, if you are trying, obviously, so you give you 100%, that gives you the best chance of success, right? It doesn't mean you're going to succeed, it gives you the best chance. That's going to grow your confidence because you're succeeding more. And then by your confidence growing, you're going to try 100% even more, going to give you a better chance of succeeding, grow your confidence, okay? So those are just a few things and ways which I can assure you, if you do them, you'll believe in yourself more, you'll overcome that self-doubt, and you'll consistently be able to do that as well. So I hope that helps you. And if you are struggling with your self-doubt or confidence, which happens to all of us at some time, come back to this video and I hope it helps. So take care and have a great day.